Hello, hello. Testing, testing. There we go. Well, I don't have to put my phone on silent. This ain't ASMR. But yeah, welcome. Anyone new here? Ooh, I'm not used to not doing ASMR. I just start talking and I'm like, oh geez. But yeah, welcome to anyone new. Um, I was thinking, this took so long to set up. Oh my god. Like I didn't realize, but I was for like almost an hour looking for the right image. It was kind of hard, like finding Jeff the Killer stuff since it's been a long time. But I finally figured out what the problem was because I found the image and then I couldn't get it to work. And it turned out, boom, 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 boom. My bad. Now my phone went black. There we go. Turned out that I had to like drag and drop it onto the screen. It like came over here. And by here, I'm looking at the OBS. I mean, it was like above on a little tab. I had to drag it down. But now it looks all good. Then also the audio looks all good now. Because again, because I was doing a lot of ASMR streams. Oh, hi, summertime. Hello. Welcome. Welcome in. But yeah, everything looks good now. Oh, car coming by. I don't care. Not ASMR. But yeah. Just making sure again all the tags look good. And all that. At least everything looks a lot better than it did. Well, finally can watch one of your streams. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it today. Boop. Look at what I like to do. I like to stream while I do these videos live, and then later I upload them. But I think it's fun to do a story and then end up catching what people are saying while I'm doing it. Because oh my god, this is long. Which I should say, yeah, I decided for Halloween I'll do like a regular creepy pasta because I was struggling between doing it ASMR or just reading it. So I decided to just do a reading of it. Let's see here. Yeah, oh my god. Because that was the other thing. When I was talking with like Mame and whatnot one stream, we were talking about like it takes a lot to do a reading because I'm reading it off the phone too. We'll see how this goes. I'm hoping it goes good today. Boop. My bad. Like, cause that was the other thing. I don't know who the author is. Cause I like to credit people and whatnot, but it's been a long time. And then like, I had to go on Wattpad, and then two people uploaded it. So it took a little bit to actually even find the story. But there was a lot of wikis on him, which is quite nice. But I think I got the right story because I made sure I compared a lot of stories. But yeah, it should be good today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to get into before I just dive right on into Jeff the Killer. Can't really think of nothing. I mean, I'm excited that it's Halloween. Very excited. I mean, can't. Oh, let me read this. Oh yeah, Squidward Suicide. That was a good one. I remember that. Oh my gosh, not, it's been so long since that too. I feel. Oh my god. And the hipster realistic eyes. Yeah, that was a big deal back then too. I'm pretty sure that came out when Jeff the Killer came out. Actually, yeah, it's like one of the big original ones. I think even before Slender Man. And then that became a big thing. And then after the big incident that happened, we don't do Slender Man anymore, which is a shame. But yeah, these are actually. Now you say that, I want to see when this was uploaded. Actually, Something weird is on this episode, but I didn't give it too much. On this episode? You mean Squidward suicide or this? Boop. Oh, this doesn't even have a date? Are you kidding me? It has to be. I want to say this has to be at least 2000s. 2000 and I'm gonna say like 7. Because again, I don't think like there's a place to read like the story. Yeah, one thing was looking straight into the game. Oh yeah. They got all into it. I think for me, from what I remember, I think it was like a studio dev. Like they think it was a joke. They were joking around. But then it turned out, it was a sick joke because it showed Squidward killing himself. I think that's how it went, but I could be wrong. Yeah. That was a good one. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see here. Oh, and apologies in advance. I got some coffee while I'm doing this because I'm probably going to get very dry reading this. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, I read Bed and Drowned. That was a good one too. Too spoopy. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked how they actually had videos. They uploaded videos for that too. And then I was trying to think. I think the music came from the video. Yeah, like everything about it was really good. And it was a weird streak for those kinds of stories. That Squidward Suicide, Jeff the Killer, like they came out during an era with all these creepypastas, and they were all just bangers. But yeah, I definitely remember Ben Drowned. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see what time. Because again, what is it? 7 minutes? Oh, we're good. I try to keep the videos when I upload them between 30 minutes to an hour onto YouTube. But I knew this was going to be a beefy boy. So I figured, why not wait until the house is nice and quiet, like kind of in the dark, and everyone's doing their own thing. So I thought this would be the perfect time to crank a Halloween video out. And again, apologies if they're stuttering or if my talking's kind of weird. Because when I started doing these videos, I did them in ASMR, so I was like really nice and quiet to the mic. So I'm not used to like just talking. I did it like once before, and it was just me going through a tier list. And I didn't record any of those. These ones I just started recording. But yeah. And again, like as I'm reading, I thought, because it's fun to do these live, I'll end up just talking through it. Oh, do you think the audio's good? That's good. Yeah, because again, I'm trying to stay away from the mic. I don't want to blow anyone's ears out. I have like a kind of a rough idea of how the voice volume is. Luckily, the model looks really good on my end, because I also had to mess with the sensitivity on the app, or not the app, but like the program I'm using in general for my model. Which actually, yeah, it looks good. Then I also made sure the mute works and everything else looks good. Then I got the tags. Made me go through this again just to double check, but everything does look good, yeah. Oh, and also I don't mind, like I have just chatting on this too, so they know even when they click on the video that there's going to be a lot of chatting throughout the story. So again, the trip down nostalgia. I don't know how many other stories I'm going to do this Halloween, but this was definitely one of them, because this was like this was a famous story. Probably one of the ones that kicked off the whole thing. Nowadays, it's like, what is it? Like Siren Head? He's the new big guy. That in the back rooms. So I'm a little out of the loop now, but yeah, glad there's still things scaring kids. But yeah, I guess I think we're all good here. I think I'm gonna start reading this again. Oh, my dog. But again, hopefully everyone's comfy, and feel free to send in chats while I'm reading if you have anything. But other than that, yeah, I think we're good to get started. Which is also looks good too because we're 10 minutes in, which is real good. Boy, now you itchy. Get me to stare. Yeah, again, I don't mind now. He could be as loud as he wants, huh? My big old dog. Alrighty. Again, I can't say the author because, again, I don't know who the actual author is. But this is Jeff the Killer, the original story. Boop, boop, boop. And I guess it starts off with this. An excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous unknown. Killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and barely tells his story. I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, and even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed, I got up and shut it once more. Boop. Stop real quick. I think we don't even know where the source of the... Yeah, that was my other problem. Because I was trying to find it. I wanted to find an image, because I like to credit people too, so it just super drove me nuts, but I was trying to find an image that wasn't like where I could credit the person if it had to be a piece of art. But since it's like this, it was a hard time on its own to even... Because there's nobody that I know that... Because I get good... I'm stuttering now. This image was made to be like, oh, this is real. The credits... Yeah, credits to the author. Exactly, because I don't know. But, it's a nice image. Like I was saying, they're trying to make it real back then, so it was a real taken photo. But yeah, I saw it for some reason the window was... Yeah, I got up and shut it once more. After simply crawled under the covers, I tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, there was a pair of 2 eyes. These weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes. They were bothered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. One moment. Gosh, he was going ham on himself. We're all good now. I don't even remember. Gun. See. Pair 2 eyes, 7 regular eyes. Line black. Ooh. The figure stood there watching me. Finally, after it seemed like forever, he said a simple phrase, but said it in a way that a madman could speak. One moment again. There we go again. So if he keeps being loud, I might have to put him out of the room for a little bit. Sorry about this. Again, this is just chatting in Jeff, so people know what they're getting into going into this. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what he sent. What did I say? I let out a scream. That's what set him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked. I punched. I rolled around trying to knock him off me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash, like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I could tell you one thing. I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes, that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Ooh. The police are still on the lookout for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into the new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou, L-I-U, couldn't complain though. A new, better house. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of the neighbors came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you." "Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, these are our new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. "Well," said Jeb's mom, "I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and my two sons, Jeff and Lou." They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family are done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. "Hey, Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party if you haven't noticed? I'm not some dumb kid." "Jeff," said his mother, "we just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to that party, and that's final." Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself. Knowing that he could do anything, whenever his mom said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at his ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. What? It said that twice. He dismissed it and just some random feeling. He heard his mother call down to him to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked down to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time, it was stronger. He gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then all of a sudden, some kid on the skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. "Hey, what the hell?" The kids landed and turned back to them. He kicked a skateboard up and caught it with his hands. What a gangster. The kid seems to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Well, well, well. It looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly 2 other kids appeared. One was super skinny and the other was huge. "Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith." Jeff and Lou looked over to the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would never expect a sidekick to have. He's Troy. They looked over at the fat kid. Talked about tub of lord. This kid looked like he had exercised since he was crawling. "Well now." "And I," said the kid, "am Randy." Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there is a small price for bus fare, if you catch my drift. Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of this kid's eyes, when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. "I have hoped you would be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way." The kid walked up to Lou and took out his wallet right out of his pocket. Jeff got his feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Get back my bro's wallet or else. Randy pulled the wallet right out of the pocket and pulled out his own... Wait, what? Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. There we go. Oh, what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Dang. Jeff, how could you? That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to the school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew there was more. It was something scary. As he got the feeling, he felt how powerful it was, the urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop, and how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore, he felt happy. And he said in somewhat ominous voice, it was a wonderful day. Next morning, he heard a knock at his door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look. Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids. That wasn't a regular fighting, and that they were stabbed. Stabbed, son. Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knife on me and Lou. Son, said one of the cops, we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now what does that tell us? Jeff knew it was no use. He could only... Whoop. What? My bad. My brain went dead. I was reading blah, blah, blah. But then there was no proof it was blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I lost my place there. That was weird. Okay. I don't know if that repeated itself, but here we go. Son, call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all the kids. Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me. The cop looked at his partner, and they both nodded. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie. Okay. Wait, says Lou. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou. It was me. I beat up those little punks. Have the marks to prove it. He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises as if it was a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Lou held up his knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Lou, it was me. I did it. Jeff had tears running down his face. Huh? Poor bro. Trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. The police led Lou out to the patrol car. Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them. I was the one who beat up those kids. Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it was Lou. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him, and Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back to the house, seeing as his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou, and it was all his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by, with no word from Lou in GDC. No friends to hang out with, nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday, when Jeff woke up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. Drink time, one moment. Oh, much better. But yeah, I could tell so far this is definitely an old story. It's definitely from its time. Alright, it was he. Jeff, it's the day, she said as they opened up the curtains to let the light flood into the room. What was today? Asked Jeff as he stares awake. So edgy, good time. Yeah. Like, it's really... you definitely could tell someone was in an edgy mood writing this. Boop, boop, boop. Why, it's Billy's party. He was now fully awake. Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after... There was a long pause. Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now get dressed. Jeff's mom walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked out the random shirt and pair of jeans and walked down the stairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up. His mother in a dress, his father in a suit. He thought, why would there ever be such fancy clothes to a kid's party? Just remembering a lot of kids dressing up as Jeff to go. It was really popular. I could see a lot of people dressing up as him during the days. Around here, I didn't see anyone dressed up, though, because I lived in a village. Not many. I think I was one of the few people to read creepypastas and stuff at my age. But that's cool you were around to see like a bunch of people dressed up as that. I bet that was fun. Son, is that all you're going to wear? Said Jeb's mom. Better than wearing too much, he said. His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hid it while a smile. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. I don't have any fancy clothes, he yelled down the stairs. Just pick out something, called his mother. He looked around his closet, and for what he would call fancy, he found a pair of black dress pants that he had for a special occasion, and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which would go with dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. You're wearing that? They both said. His mother looked at her watch. Oh no, time to change. Let's just go, she said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door, and it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, was way overdressed. As they both walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults. No kids. The kids are all out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go meet some of them, said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to the yard full of kids. They were running around in the weird cowboy costumes, shooting each other with plastic guns. He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun with a hat. A toy gun with a hat. A toy gun and a hat. Hey, wanna play? He said. And by the way, play is spelled P-W-A-Y because he's a kid, apparently. Ah, no, kid. I'm way too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with a weird puppy dog face. Please? Said the kid. Fine, said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend to shoot the kids. At first he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been a super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off of Lou. So he played with the kids for a while, until he heard a noise. A weird rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. Hello, Jeff, is it? He said. We have some unfinished business. Jeff saw his bruised nose. I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you get my brother sent to the JTC. Randy got an angry look in his eyes. Oh, no. I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today. He said, and that Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and head-butted him. Jeff pushed Randy off him, and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. No one interrupts, or guts will fly, they said. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs the foot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. Need some help? He picks up Jeff by the back of the collar and throws him through the patio floor. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked down on the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Come on, Jeff, fight me. He picks up Jeff and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. Fight! He throws Jeff back into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to the JTC, and now you're going to sit there and let him rot in there for a whole year. You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally, you stand and fight. Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets the strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. Finally, he's up, says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's when it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed and all rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him into the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. Randy's grabs for breath. Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch. Blood gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff, Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him. Each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith fall up behind. As they let out their final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away from bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He is more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He drops the knife and grabs Jeff by the neck. He pushed him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It burnt both of them, and they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Jeff's head. As they lie there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. "What's so funny?" asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. "What's funny?" he said. "It's that you're covered in bleach and alcohol." Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol in the vodka. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin. Jeff let out a terrible screech. That's all you get. As he was caught on fire, he tried to roll out the fire, but it was no use. Oh, goodness. The alcohol had him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down to the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire, drop to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized that there was some tube in his arm. That's when he tried to get up. It fell out and the nurse rushed in. "I don't think you can get out of bed just yet," she said, and she put him back into his bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of his surroundings, where finally, after hours, he heard his mother. "Honey, are you okay?" she asked. Jeff couldn't answer, though. His face was covered, and he was unable to speak. "Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed of trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go." I don't think that's how that works. They made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. "He'll be out by tomorrow, and then you two will be able to be together again." Jeff's mom hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. It was a couple of weeks for those, but the next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Wow, this is so weird. Weird. They came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it, where he could look like. As doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover over his face was almost removed. "Let's hope for the best," said the doctor as he quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of the face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare awestruck at his face. What happened to my face?" said Jeff. He rushed out of the bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw what causes the distress. His face. It's horrible. His lips were burnt to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hands to his face. It had all sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family, then back at the mirror. "Jeff," said Lou, it's not that bad." "Not that bad," said Jeff. "It's perfect." His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff? Are you okay?" "Okay? I never felt more happy." "Oh, oh, 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 oh." There was laughter inserted there. Look at me. The face goes perfectly with me. He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face with feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity snapped. Now he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. Doctor, said Jeff's mom, is my son all right? You know, in the head? Oh, yeah. His behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here. We'll give him a psychological test. Oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mom went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go. Jeff looks away from the mirror. His face formed a crazy smile. Okay, mommy. His mother took him to the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. This is what came in, said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and the white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood and now stitched together. Jeff's mom let him room and made him put on the clothes. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life. Drink time. There we go. Definitely have some opinions after this. Later that night, Jeff's mom woke to the sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if it was crying. Jeff slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff has taken the knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over at his mother. I couldn't keep smiling, Molly. It hurt after a while, but I can smile forever. Jeff's mom noticed his eyes, ringed and black. Jeff, your eyes. His eyes were seemingly never closing. I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned out my eyelids so I could forever see myself. My new face. Jeff's mother slowly started to back away. Seeing her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful? Yes, son, she said. You are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face. She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. Honey, get the gun. She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife. Mommy, you lied. That's when the last thing they hear is Jeff rushes them with the knife, gutting them both. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got into the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grasp. Shh, Jeff said. Just go to sleep. And that was Jeff the Killer. Wow, that was nothing like I remembered. Like, there's moments where things just happen. I do not remember the bullies. Like, they just straight up go all in with the bullies. That was insane. And I just love how, like, they're like how, like, okay the parents were with a lot of it. Like, oh, it was just painkiller. Oh, that's fine. Let's go. And then, like, straight goes up to the dad and tells her to get the gun to shoot her son. Ugh, that was fun. That was a fun read. Wow. And we're about 44 minutes. It was a nice lengthy one. I thought I was going to be reading it for a lot longer, but it's actually finished at a decent time. But yeah, definitely overall, it's definitely a fun story, but way more edgier than I thought it was. But yeah. I hope I did pretty good for my first reading live. Like, I know it was kind of rough. I felt myself trying to do ASMR at some point, so I was like, no, I can't get close to the mic and do that. But yeah, that was good. Boop. Well, I think that's about wraps it up for this session. Let's go wait a little bit, see if anyone else has anything they want to add in before I end doing the end of the video wrap up and then uploading this to YouTube. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I'm gonna do. I'm kind of just going how I feel. I don't know what story I'm gonna end up doing if I do another one this month. Maybe I'll. Cause there's a lot. I could do Squidward Suicide now that you brought that up, and then do like a Squidward Suicide maybe later this week or next. Just to start doing all the really old ones. Man, it was. Maybe I should start reading them off the computer too. I don't know, cause that was kind of hard to read off the phone. A big long one like that. But we'll see. But yeah, hope everyone has a good first week of Halloween. Thanks for everyone that stopped in. Hopefully everyone doesn't end up checking under their beds a bunch tonight after this story. But yeah, thank you all for showing up. I'll see you guys later. Stay spooky. Bye.